back to the GSTL. Things are already getting a little bit heated right now. FX Open sent out their second player. It is Lucky. And the map choice is going to be Daybreak.
And before we head into the match, we of course once again have a short interview with the two coaches. Left we have our StarTaleQ coach, whereas Choya to the right.
팀들이 올라와서 많은 팬분들 속을 좀 상하게 했습니다. 어제 있었던 두 경기 감독님도 굉장히 긴장을 많이 했었는데요. 두 감독님 지금 심정이 좀 어떠신가요? 긴장되시나요?
아무래도 그 떨어지면 시즌에서 아웃되니까 긴장이 좀 되고 있는 것 같습니다.
네, 이현우 감독님은요?
Today's the loser match, so the loser of today's match is going to be out of the GSTL. So apparently the StarTaleQ team is really nervous playing today.
보여주고 있는 김영일 선수 기분 좋게 1승을 따냈는데요. 김영일 선수 오늘 몇 승까지 자신하던가요?
그 자신을 모르겠고 그 FX로 만나면 항상 그 올킬의 기억들이 있어서 이미 지금 1킬을 했기 때문에 올킬을
StarTaleQ recently all killed FXO in the last team match. They're pretty confident they can actually win today. It's probably something that Choya does not want to be reminded of.
No, I'm sure not. 인수가 좀 잘하잖아요. 저번 빅리그도 그렇고 그래가지고 스타테일한테 기세 뺏기면 예전처럼 올킬 당할 것 같아서 자르스 있을 때 최대한 빠르게 자르기 위해서
Lucky is one of our ace players for our team. And I sent him out early because we really didn't want the momentum to really grow for StarTale because remember the all-kill that we faced last time.
지난 두 경기 모두 굉장히 큰 스코어 차이로 이겼는데요. 오늘 경기 스코어 차이.
That's actually really smart. I like this. We've seen it way too often that the player was able to gather up all this momentum and suddenly defeated the star players of the opposing team. So I can really appreciate a position like this.
5대3이요. 알겠습니다.
The StarTaleQ coach hopes that Hack is actually able to all kill today. He doesn't really think that it's gonna happen, but he's still hoping for it. He expects a 5-3 score and thinks that's a little bit more realistic.
오늘 필승 각오 한마디씩 해주시죠.
저번 시즌에 그 준우승으로 아쉽게 마감을 해서 지금 시즌에서는 우승이 목표거든요. 그래서 지금 여기서 떨어진 건 말이 안 되는 것 같고 그래서 꼭 올라가겠습니다.
네, 이현우 감독님.
Last season in Las Vegas, they were the run-up, and all the team players were actually really upset about it. And he said they cried in the hotel. Actually, they are preparing really hard for the current GSTL season. They want to be the champion.
자, 과연 어떤 팀이 승리해서 NS호선을 만날지 StarTaleQ 콘텐츠과 FX의 오픈 끝까지 함께 해주시기 바랍니다.
Basically, he feels that if the players don't get nervous, they're going to play really well today. They prepared well for the match.
Yeah, Choya just said that they really put a lot of effort into into training. So we'll see how that's going to work out. And I have to say that ASD he didn't play bad or anything. It was just like in this particular game, Hack proved to be the better player, but valiant effort by ASD was not enough to take a first point to the scoreboard for his team. But we'll see if maybe Lucky is the one player who can turn things around. And we've seen great play by Lucky. He's a Zerg player that tries to be very safe in the mid game and after the early game. We mentioned how it is very important for Zerg when you get a little bit ahead to actually rely on Spinecrawlers, Spore Crawlers in the bases because draw play is the one thing that can completely throw you off guard, that can stop your rhythm. And Lucky was one of the first Zergs who really did this in every single game. Cloud Kingdom games come to mind especially, where he always made sure that his natural, his main and his third were protected, and I guess that's exactly what we're going to see from today.
Yeah, the infestor count is so important in this matchup right now. People are really trying to figure out exactly how many. You know, there's one way you look at things like Freaky does. The other way is to have too few infestors, have one or two, and
is there anything like having too many infestors?
Well, that's what we're trying to determine, man. Science doesn't even know yet if there is such a thing. It's a stylistic choice, but the second map, like I said, is going to be Daybreak. And you know, I actually feel like a better choice may have been Metropolis, but they may have plans to use that later. That's something that a lot of people are probably thinking about right now too.
I think Hack is still trolling Legend, isn't he? At least he's having a really fun time
It's this really annoying thing where I can't scroll up, it keeps kicking me back down. All I can know is something about singing, and he's saying that it's really amazing, but I guess they're probably saying that...
Well, if Legend actually wants to sing, we can always give him the chance on camera. I'm sure that one of us would be willing to trade the microphone for a few seconds. If Legend wants to start a solo, hey!
I would love to hear Legend sing, man, but that is for another time because we're going to see if Lucky can tie things up here at the GSTL with Calder and Wolf.
And here we go, starting to the top right of Daybreak in our second game of today's GSTL match. We have our Terran player. It is starting for the StarTale team.
StarTale! Hey!
These are, by the way, also the Twitter accounts of all these players. So StarTale set up Twitter accounts for every single player. So if you just want to check them out, just have a quick look at, well, go to Twitter and it's basically StarTale_ and then the player's nickname.
His opponent in the blue from the Zerg team. His ID is...
Episode Lucky!
Whoa.
That looked a little bit like, I don't know. Legend probably has a hangover. He went out drinking yesterday and now he's like,
he always
whoa,
does that.
let's go for this camera zoom and another one, then again.
He always Legend. He is, well, if you ever have the opportunity to meet him, come to Korea, definitely say hi. He's a character.
Yeah, he definitely is. But I guess the one reason that he would have to get kind of to party it up a little bit would be if StarTale is going to win today. Lucky basically started with he's going for the 15 hatch, but he also sends out a very early scout, a drone scout, and makes sure that he knows exactly what's going on here. Of course, he also wants to know if there's a command center first. We've seen this trend that Zerg players will try to get a double hatch before pool if there's a command center first for the Terran player. So this early scout enables him to just check exactly what's going on in Hack's main base and act accordingly.
Yeah, I think on a map like this, it's his map choice. We're going to see a long game. That's what he really does well.
Yeah.
He's not the type to do a very fast, aggressive attack. He is actually getting his gas right now, though, before pool.
Yeah, he's playing this a little bit, I don't want to say too greedy. He knows that there's no kind of double barracks opening, so he can definitely get away with it. And it's just trying to cut a few corners that will definitely work for him. So currently he knows that there's going to be an expansion for his opponent, one barracks into expander from Hack. He already saw that there was no gas, so this was basically already a given. But with the information that he has, he can now just safely prepare for his game. We've seen a couple of roach bailing attacks by Lucky, but usually he's a player who's really opting for the late game and who tries to overwhelm his opponent with his macro style, with all the base that he gets with the income, and just starts this tag and tries to make this unit composition, the late game unit composition of Zerg, work for him.
Yep. And this gas steal is going to be so frustrating because it really limits the options of Hack right now. He's not going to be able, he will be able to make Reactor Hellions after this, but they're going to be late, they're going to be slower, they're going to be less effective. He definitely will not be able to get cloaked for Banshees if he wants to go for Banshee follow-up as well. This is really, really frustrating, and the cancellations that we see here, he gets most of his minerals back, just makes it denied even longer. Great play by Lucky. Nice babysitting, I guess you could say, on that extractor steal. Really like to see that.
You need exactly 3 Marines to make sure that the Zerg opponent has to cancel this extractor, because if you only have 2, then the building extractor basically gets the hit points faster than the Marines can take the
Yeah,
down,
the Marines get close, but then if you just cancel and do it again, it's like, well, that's all that you can do. If you pull SCVs, then you can kill it, but if you pull SCVs, then he's going to be really happy that you did.
Yeah, exactly, because you lose the mining time as well. You can always just position your Marines or your SCVs so that you can't build the extractor. That's possible.
Yes.
This positioning of the bunker, by the way, that we've seen a couple of times, people are a bit curious about why exactly the bunker is at exactly this position. The reason is that with a bunker that is positioned right to the left, on this map to the left side of the command center, you can control the choke point, you can control the ramp as soon as you block it. At the same time, your mineral line is safe, so even a run-by will not do any damage.
Yeah,
if you
all you have to do is stack your SCVs and you'll defend them. You're exactly right. That's actually a really good tip to give to people, because it's a great way to place your bunker where, like you said, you cover the ramp, your mineral line is fine, and it has less surface area to be surrounded. That's something I really like. It's not exposed to roaches either, so...
3 bases now for Zerg player. Lucky already gets the 3rd commands, and he still has a few units out on the map to scout for SCV so that he can make sure that there are no Marines sneaking in, that there is no SCV that's getting additional scouting information for his opponent. And you can see that he's playing really, well, drone heavy now. There are not a lot of Zerglings on the map. He's playing this very, very greedy or economy focused. He has Overlord's positions. He knows exactly when his opponent is going to move out. And he gets some scouting information in there as well.
Fakes the cloak for that Overlord, which I really like. Double evolution chambers on the way, but that's pretty standard regardless. He's not going to be able to get cloaked, like I said, with the late gas. I mean, he can do it, but it's already late. He's not really hitting the timing that you'd want to hit with cloak anyways, and it's just too much gas for him to spend right now. He's going to get stimmed very soon with that other tech lab you guys see on the production tab, and that's a much better choice to be spending his gas on right now. It's just not reasonable for him to go cloak.
Lucky is following things up with a lair already. He's going for a few spore crawlers. He's playing it safe, but those Hellions, they could be a bit of a problem to him. He needs a few units in order to make this, like, really safe. He actually doesn't have too many, only 16 Zerglings. This is not a lot. He has a few that could surround those Hellions, but if he is caught out of position, then he might lose way too many drones here, especially because we have a Banshee following this up as well. It's finally done and moving straight towards the Zerg's main base, and this combination can be really dangerous, even though there are already Spore Crawlers, but there are always a couple of sweet spots where you can dodge the Spore Crawler shots and at the same time, for example, take out the gas drones.
Yeah. In just this pressure alone makes Lucky have to multitask so much more. This Banshee is going to fly right into a Spore. Look at the preparation. You discussed it before the match even began. He's so good at defending drops, having Spores for Banshees. That Spore not only denies the Banshee, but it's going to be useful later for drops as well. It's a great multi-purpose Spore. I feel like I'm selling a commercial for it, but...
Get this Spore. It is good for you.
And it even detects DTs, don't worry.
And it is so cheap.
Yeah. You can even move it. It's a new feature.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
You know, your existing queens that you already have at your house can transfuse it anytime. No additional cost.
I want to get 2. Is that discount?
Yeah, well, unfortunately not right now, but our promotion ended a few days ago. I still highly recommend this product, sir. It's quite good.
I'll consider it. The Spire is on its way now, but here come all these Hellions, and this is exactly the problem. There are no Spine Crawlers. He basically just skipped them, and this is a very strong attack if you don't have the response. And Banelings, there are only 4 of them. He doesn't have a lot, and he needs a lot more Banelings if he really wants to make this work. Because if you only have 4 Banelings and the Hellions take them down, suddenly your Zerglings are really exposed. So this can do a lot of damage. This could actually potentially cripple his economy.
Yeah, he's got the Wings coming in, but the Hellions are just doing so much already. Here come the Banes, but he's got Hellions left. So just kiting these Banelings is going to be no problem. Even the Marauder survives, the Banshee as well. He's on the attack now. The Spine Crawler will finish, but it's going to die.
This is exactly what I talked about earlier. Without the Spine Crawlers and this few Zerglings, it's going to be a big problem for him. He's finally able to do some damage here, and I'm really liking how he does this. I can't actually believe that he's able...
Banshee! Oh, he doesn't have Cloak. I don't know why I said that.
I cannot believe that he was able to make this work. This was so well done by Lucky. I'm speechless here.
It was, but the thing is, he had to make a ton of units that he didn't want to make in order to hold, and now we're working out a little bit more even. He's still up 15 Harvesters.
Yeah, but that's okay. He's fine. He has the economy, he has everything he wants.
He's got a denial on the third base as well here.
Well, he needs Overlords. He can't immediately produce his Mutalisks, which is a little bit of a problem. But this push was really strong. A Marauder and Hellion combination with even the support by the Banshees, that was very well done. And I really thought that he would lose a lot more units, especially his economy, but he defended so well.
It was a good defense, but you know, in the defense of our Terran player, he has forced a lot of links. Now there are 42 links on the map, and he cannot really do that much with them. You saw them run in there and then just leave because he can't attack that position. Yeah, he has a huge lead in army because of this, and he's got this control of the map, but he can't actually attack with them anymore. They're going to be picked off by this Banshee if they stick around too long, so he has to be very careful with those. He's invested a lot of minerals and a lot of larvae. 13 Mutalisks on the way, and that's going to be the scary follow-up.
That is just one part of the coin, because if you have the Zerglings as well, you can run in with the Zerglings, lead the charge, the Mutalisks go in with the focus fire. So this is a great position now for Lucky to be in. He's ahead in supply. Look at his economy and just look at how well he already upgrades, he upgrades for his not only Zerglings, but also the +1 attack upgrade for the Mutalisks right now. He's doing a good job here. I would love to spread him the creep a little bit farther out at third base. That would help him a lot against run-bys, especially with Hellions. But this is a great position for him to be in. He could actually start to engage in small battles. Well, maybe, yeah, exactly. Take down the Viking. Try to get a few shots over the Marines as soon as they are outside of the range of the missile turret.
Yeah, I like the Viking usage there, by the way. Okay.
The mid-game attack with the Banelings once again. And what do we have for the Terran player? That's right. Actually, does he have siege mode? He does, doesn't he?
I believe so, yeah. I think he
was about to say no siege mode because I didn't catch it early on the production
he's
tab.
got it.
Yes, he got it. Okay. I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I really thought I watched the production tab, but I didn't catch the siege mode. So, yeah, without the siege mode, he would have been doomed here. But still, this is a powerful attack nonetheless. But
yeah, this is scary because he's spread out quite thinly right now.
But if he targets well, he can definitely defend against
He
this.
certainly can. It's not going to be easy. Look at the supply, 182, 137. He's making 6 depots at once right now.
But against a siege up Terran player, it's always really, really difficult, especially when he knows exactly what's coming.
He does, and the stim is
Yeah,
there. He
look at
targets right away.
Boom.
Oh, a second hit as well.
Too many hits.
Yeah, way too many hits. This is not going to be as effective as he wanted, but it's not over yet.
No, it definitely is not. He's moving in, but most of the Banelings are already gone. Still, there are a lot of Zerglings left, and they try to take down the SCVs. But now just look at this defense by Hack, and I have to say, I'm not too happy with Lucky's decision here. If he spotted this, this is exactly what I talk about.
This is problematic too because he's making more Banelings, and the second wave could be even less effective because he knows that it's going to come.
Why attack? Take a fourth right now. You already saw that your opponent has the siege tanks in position.
That's exactly what he's doing.
He killed a few of them. There's only one left, so if he's able to move in, maybe, but the second siege tank just joined the army, and sieged up Terran play is just so strong. Defense is the one thing where Terrans like really shine.
Well, he was going to take that fourth base. He got denied by this drop. The drop was either to kill the drone or to kill the base if it was there, and he did accomplish that, so he denies his base. But all these Banelings aren't made in the middle of the map. He's making even more. This timing, actually, that he attacks with these next 24 Banelings that are coming out, is going to put him at 46. And this is not going to be something he expects, but even so, his defense is still set up. This is going to be very hard to make work, but it could work. It's not going to be something he expects.
If he trades for the command center, maybe, but I don't know. I'm not a fan. Well, he doesn't have siege tanks at the low ground. He just completed another 2.
The SCV is already pre-pulled, pulling him way early.
And here come the siege tanks, do a lot of damage, but the big question is, will he have the anti-air after this battle? The Marines, if they actually die, then suddenly those Mutalisks have free reign, and this is a big danger for Hack, and I think that actually Lucky might have pulled this off already. The Marine count now is currently at 21 against 11 Mutalisks, but the Zerglings are still alive, and as long as they can occupy the Marines, the Mutalisks will do really well here.
And he trades extremely well. At the end of the day, he's up a lot of supply now. And the SCVs are pulled. He killed several of them. In total right now, the worker count down to 50. And a lot of SCVs were damaged. You can see some of them even being healed there on screen by the medevac. So he's going to be careful about the follow-up attacks.
Lucky, on the other hand, I would really love to see the infestation pit now, so that he slowly but steadily prepares a transition in case this is not working in his favor.
Great targeting on those Banelings, but there's still a ton of them rolling in here.
The production is just way better for Lucky right now. He doesn't miss his injects, and here comes once again a wave of Banelings rolling in, and the Mutalisks, they kill the siege tanks. They try to take them out as fast as possible, and now the SCVs are endangered. A few of them die here. The Marines are popping out of the barracks and trying to do as much damage as they can do, trying to prevent the worst here. And still, Hack holds. He still holds. He defends still well against this, but he is running out of units.
Yeah, there's nothing to defend this third base right now. He kills a tank and gets out, decides not to engage the SCVs. He's worried about a potential Marine attack on his mules. He's going to wait for 27 more Banelings. And this is actually starting to really make sense. I mean, you can see in this a lot of Jelizerg type style where he just attacks until his opponent dies.
It makes a lot of sense, but it's also a very dangerous thing. If your opponent is able to just... If your opponent is not dying, you have no follow-up, and 3-3 it's on its way, but without siege tanks, and currently Hack doesn't have any, he will not be able to defend against the Banelings.
No.
So this is exactly what Lucky is currently waiting on.
Exactly, and look at this. He's not even going to engage the SCVs with the Banelings. He's going to use them for more important things, but honestly, there's not even that many Marines left to use the Banelings on. He's just got way too many units. The supply down to 60 now.
It is just an onslaught of attacks.
He's dancing the Zerglings.
It's a barrage here. Attack after attack is hitting Hack, and it is too much in the end. Lucky with the first engagement. He did not really trade all that cost efficient, but he was able to shut down the siege tanks, and Hack was not able to rebuild them fast enough to prepare for attack number 2.
Yep, he is dancing his lings as his Mutalisk die. Triple the supply now of his opponent, and there is not much else that Hack can do. Lucky will tie this up. The drop gets shut down in the north. GG!
GG, here we go. Hack with very good defense, but Lucky is the one who prevails. Attack number 1 killed the siege tanks, the second attack did a little bit more damage, and at some point just everything snowballed, and there was just too much rolling towards Hack's main base. He could not really withstand that. There was an avalanche of Zerg units just coming his way.
Well, I like the position for FX Open now. Taking out Hack, tying things up. They've got a strong player, and StarTale can't mess around with this guy. They have to be very careful, very choosy about who they send out next.
And Entombed is gone. We actually have the next map is already hosted. Muspelheim is going to be
interesting
map
choice,
number
man.
3.
You know, people do not usually pick this map. This map usually comes out because there's nothing left.
Exactly. It's Muspelheim and Whirlwind are the two maps. Well, Whirlwind maybe a little bit less because it's good for Zerg in certain matchups, but Muspelheim is one of the maps that we usually have as like the 8th or 9th
and
map.
ironically, Whirlwind has been the starting map, which is randomly selected several times, so that's one that we've seen a lot more, so people have had to prepare for it, so they practiced on it already, and then therefore it's just getting used more. But yeah, this map is actually one of my favorite maps in the entire pool. But the question is, who are we going to see play on it? This is not... Actually, I think this map is really balanced. I don't think this map favors one race over the other. If they pick a Terran player, there are a lot of ramps. There's a lot of choke points, depending on how you use them. They're not really choke points, but you can make them into choke points with how you position your tanks.
About the last game, again, by the way, this is one of the styles that, for example, Hyun uses all the time. And there's a very, very thin path that you can walk. If you actually make it work and you kill your opponent, then you made everything right. But if you make a few decisions and you think, okay, I can take him down, and in the end the Terran player holds, then suddenly, I don't want to say you look stupid, but you look a little bit unprepared, and because you don't have a follow-up, you don't have the infestation pit, and then you die, and everybody will be like, yeah, of course, he had no transition, so then he lost, he wasted too much.
It's a balancing act you have to play.
Exactly, it's what July does as well. You mentioned that earlier. July loves to do this, exactly this kind of strategy. But Lucky made all the right decisions, took the game, and the score is tied. And here we go. The next player is actually going to be...
Bomber.
Bomber on Muspelheim. This is something that I would not have expected at all.
Yeah, neither would I.
Not him to be the next player, but the map choice.
I expected the Terran once I saw the map choice, but the map choice is a little bit weird. I can't even explain it. It's like, alright, maybe Bomber prepared a build for this map, but that seems a little bit weird. It may be Bomber's way of being Bomber, being like, I can beat you on any map, even maps I don't practice on. I bet he might say that in an interview or something, but he's played in the GSTL 12 times. He's gotten an all-kill. He's quite famous for that. He's very, this guy is really specific about how he puts his headset on, as you guys just witnessed. Look, he's not fine with it. He's like, wait a second, that's not fine.
To me, Bomber is a player who belongs in the Codas. He is so strong. I think he's a very, very strong Terran player, and I feel for him every time that he falls short.
Yeah, his potential, I feel, has not been fully realized. Even though he's quite popular and people consider him a favorite, I think he could be even more, And if you don't play in Codas, then it's hard to... I don't know how to explain how the experience of playing in Codas really helps you prepare for matches, but just look at Naniwa, for example. He has learned so well how to prepare for matches just from being in Korea and preparing for his Codas matches. That's something that outside of Korea, there isn't really a tournament like this, where you have several weeks to prepare for one match.
The style really suits some players, and Naniwa is definitely one of them. Koreans are used to the style of tournament as well. That's why they first struggled so hard when they participated in foreign tournaments. Well, I don't want to say they struggled so hard, but in comparison to how they did in the Korean tournaments, they seem to be a little bit less strong because they were just not used to playing this many games a day in a tournament, of course not practice, and to face a variety of opponents and maps in just, well, in such a short while. That was definitely one of the problems. I talked to actually a lot of Koreans about this, and they said that right now most Koreans that travel a lot get accustomed to it quite well. That's also one of the reasons why they participated in so many North American and European online tournaments. But at first, it was definitely a problem because it was a different style of tournament that they were used to.
Yeah, that's something that you just don't really see that much in Korea. It's a long, drawn-out tournament. There's a season. The matches, you know about them very long in advance. And I really like that sometimes the players shine in the team league and some don't. And that's because they're more used to I have no idea who I'm going to play, but it doesn't matter because I'm just an all-around good player. I don't need preparation. And some players are better in the individual league because they like and need that preparation.
But you can also tell with the preparation, that's not. For example, that is the problem that Naniwa had when he was starting to travel to foreign tournaments, because he was only preparing for Terran and Protoss players. So against Zerg, he had no real builds developed, because this is the matchup that he never practiced at all. He was like, yeah, well, why would I practice Zerg? I'm facing for the next 2 months or 1.5 months. I'm only facing Terran and Protoss. I have to prepare these matchups, and then you have to get back into the mindset. So it's a different style of training too.
Yeah, it can be very difficult to have a Code S match that you're preparing for a specific matchup and have to go play against all sorts of races. We are going to start our match. We'll see if Bomber can pull his team into the lead. As Epic's Open has tied things up with Lucky. The map is Mooseline. This is the GSTL, sponsored by Hot 6. Elder and Wolf bringing you the casting.